Hello, welcome back to Betty's Gym. Today should be Wednesday, and today we are doing some balance training. And we're going to start, usually we start with a warm up, but I think this time with balance, we're going to start with the CDC's 4-step balance assessment. So I'll link in the description the actual assessment tool so you can look at it yourself. But it's a really easy 4-step balance assessment that you can do anytime. It requires no equipment except a timer is helpful just to see how long you can do each position. So instead of a warm-up, we're going to do that today. And it starts by just standing with both feet very close together. As close as you can get together. And you are allowed to balance with your hands, move your hands as you need to. Please do this next to something that if you need support and you start to topple, that you can grab something. So kitchen chair, a wall, whatever would be helpful. But the first movement isn't a movement. All of these are holds actually. The first one is standing with feet touching side by side, and I'm standing in that position now. You just probably can't see my feet because of the camera angle, okay? So we're gonna go as long as we can here. You can have your hands down, you can have your hands out, whatever helps you balance the best. And we're gonna start the timer right now. So let's see how long we can hold this. And rather than stand there and stare at you for 30 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds, I'll let you just pause the video if you want to do that. And then we'll go on to the next one in just a couple of seconds here. So feet together. Okay. The next one is feet just offset. So they're very close together, they're touching, but one toe is kind of where your arch is. They're not completely out to the side or one behind the other. So we're going to get in that position where one foot is just slightly ahead of the other, but again, they're very close together and touching. So let's start the timer here. See how long we can hold that. And anything from about 10 to 30 seconds or longer is considered good. It's when you can't hold the position hardly at all, that it's something to pay attention to. And for me, because of my autoimmune and things like that, some days I have really good balance. Other days I really don't have very good balance at all. Sometimes I have muscle tremors, which impacts balance. So it really will depend on the day for me. Okay, so right now my right foot is ahead. Because we're not symmetrical and our brain doesn't always transfer knowledge from one side to the other, we're going to do the other side. So right now my left foot is slightly ahead. Right foot, big toe is kind of at the arch, and we'll start the time right here to see how we do. And for me, this seems like it's going to be a good day. We haven't gotten to the hard stuff yet, but sometimes this can be a challenge. So it's just something to notice, pay attention to, and then I'll give you some exercises that can help strengthen that in the next part of the video. Okay? All right, so this has been longer than 10 seconds. Again, anything longer than 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds is fantastic. You can pause the video as you like just to see how long you can do it if you want. But that's farther than 10 seconds, so we will go on to the next one. Okay, this one is heel to toe, one foot directly ahead of the other. Toes are touching toe is touching the heel, and feet are straight ahead, and I'm already kind of tipping a little bit. So I'm going to put my hands out here and let's start the time. Okay. Let's do the other side just to make sure. So my left foot is now ahead, but whichever side you started with, just do the opposite. And here we go. Okay. All right. Step 4, because we've done all the other ones so far. We've done together. We've got ahead, both sides. Heel to toe is 3. And then the 4th one is standing on 1 foot. And they don't really care how you do this. The standard is just elevating a foot in front of you. Some assessments, not this particular one, wants you to train this one, but then also out to the side and behind. As long as you are just raising a foot off the ground, there you go. And see, I'm already tipping. So let's go. Okay. All right, and just for symmetry, let's do the other one. Pick it up, get steady, and here we go. Okay, and that's the assessment. On the link I'm going to provide, there is a worksheet that you can fill out, and then you can retest later after you've done some training to see if your assessment has improved or not. But today, what we're going to do is actually do some exercises that can help over time improve your balance. The first one is toe cars, which you're going to love. And then there's calf raises. All right, for toe cars, you can do toe cars sitting or standing. I prefer sitting because of balance and all of that stuff. You can do 1 foot at a time or both feet at a time. And today, for instructional purposes, I'd like to do just 1 foot at a time. And that way you can pay attention to what each foot is doing, and you can do some assessment. Cars are assessment, but also you can do some work to see where you need some support in mobility. So the first exercise for toe cars is to raise your big toe and then set it down, and all the other toes stay where they are. So we're going to raise our big toe and lay it down. Now, technically, if you look at the FRC website and their literature, they don't want your hands doing anything, because your hands, especially when you're trying to isolate that big toe movement or any toe movement, your hands like to help. And they really want you to see what your hands are doing. Notice that you are trying to compensate with your hands and all of that. Quite honestly, this is our first time, and that's not a big deal for me. Let's see what our toe can do. Okay, the next movement is we raise all 4 other toes and keep the big toe planted. And we try and do this without like rotating our foot a lot. So just raise those 4 toes and try to keep the big toe planted. And we're going to do 4 or 5 of those. And frequently, like when I started this, like none of my toes did what I told them to. So I had to notice that first. But then I trained by holding down my big toe and raising my other toes. And eventually my foot kind of got the message, although I'm getting a little bit of a cramp there. So cramping is not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, it's never really a bad thing other than it's unpleasant. Cramping just signals that your brain is overloading the tissue with information, and that can happen when the tissue isn't trained very often, when the tissue is damaged or weak. Usually you're feeling other things when the tissue is damaged. So a lot of that is just your brain's trying to make it move, isn't quite sure how to do that, and will just send a mass of information to the foot, and your foot will send a mass of information back, and that is a cramp. So not necessarily a bad thing, just a signal that your body is not used to this position or not used to this task. So we're gonna do some work to make it used to this task. Okay, the next one is all of the toes are up and then the big toe goes down and the other ones stay up. Do it without using your hands, and then if it just doesn't work, you can keep your toes up with your hands. Just be careful that you're not pulling the toes up, that you're just keeping them up, not pulling. And then the last one is we're going to lift all of the toes. We're going to spread our toes and try to put one toe down at a time. And you can see my hand wants to help. But we're going to give the hands a break and let the toes do their thing. Okay, let's do the other foot. We're going to raise our big toe. We're going to raise our other 4 toes. We're going to raise all of the toes and just put the big toe down. You can see I compensate a little bit by curling my toes. We're not supposed to do that, but everybody starts where they are, and trust me, this is an improvement. Okay, and then we're going to lift all the toes. We're going to spread the toes as much as we can and try and put one toe down at a time. And we're going to try and do that without rocking the foot one way or another. Okay, and those are toe cards. And if you're not used to this, this probably felt like exercise, not a warm-up, and it kind of is. The more force you put into moving the tissue, the more it's going to feel like exercise. The more you do this, the more mobile your foot is going to be, and then we can train it to be stronger and stronger. And some of us don't We take our feet for granted, but balance starts with our feet, and so does most of our functional movement. I mean, walking, a lot of hip and knee dysfunction sometimes is actually foot and ankle that has traveled up the chain. So healthy feet, healthy movement. So let's train some other things for the exercise portion. You need blocks, you need yoga blocks, and you're going to need a tennis ball for the recovery portion. Okay, so toe cars is going to help strengthen over time the tops and bottoms of your feet. But balance isn't just your feet. Feet play a very important role, but it isn't the only thing out there. So for our work today, we're going to do some calf raises and some tiptoe reaches with a block. So the only equipment you'll need is a block, but I recommend doing this next to a chair or a counter or a wall, something that if your balance starts to shift, that you can grab onto to stabilize yourself. We don't need any trips or falls while we're trying to get fit, okay? So you can't really see my feet here, but I will describe what we're doing. It's not that big of a thing, but you're just going to go up on tiptoes and then back down. So you see me go up and down, but I'm really just going up on my tiptoes. So I like to do calf raises against a structure that I can grab onto. This is not going to compromise the exercise in any way, shape, or form. You can do the calf raises without leaning against something, but there's no reason not to just use a stabilizer, and that way you can focus on what's going on with your lower leg even more, okay? So the work today is going to be 10 calf raises followed by 10 tiptoe reaches. And then we're going to alternate for 3 sets, okay? So the calf raise, really simple. You're just going to go up you're going to have your feet about hip width, right underneath your shoulders. And you're just going to go up as far as you can and down. And you'll notice I'm not doing this. I'm not going fast. I'm going a slow up and a slow down. And we're going to do that for 10. And yes, you will feel it in your feet and in your calves. Okay, so 10 of those. And then 10 tiptoe reach with a block. Okay, so this one is going to be tricky. So you may start with no block and hang on to something. So the movement is to raise one leg, raise your arms, and go up on tiptoe. Okay, so that's a lot. So the same leg that is up is the arms. Actually, it's supposed to be both. So you go up like that, and even I can't do that. I have some work to do. But the exercise is overhead and then up. So please do this holding on to something. And your calves may also be burning at this point. So feel free to take a lap around the house first, and then come back and do the other one. Okay? And I would need to hold on over here. All right, and to do it with a block, you would raise both hands. And we could even modify and just have a hold here, because that may be challenging enough where we're reaching without the tiptoe. Okay, let's do some work, and I will see you in a little bit to talk about how to roll out our feet. See you in a minute. Okay, so we have finished our work, and tonight and tomorrow our feet are not going to be happy with us, or they may be very happy with us. But if our feet are not happy, you're going to want a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball for recovery. Tennis balls are squishier, so it will prevent you from accidentally bruising the tissue, especially if you have thin tissue or very unhealthy tissue. So I recommend a tennis ball. Lacrosse balls are just fine. Just make sure that you're not going too hard or too deep too quickly, and that you're helping your feet recover rather than adding an injury to it. So we are going to roll out our feet and our arch. And what we're going to do is if this is my foot, I'm going to show you in a minute, but if this is my foot, we are going to go crossways across the tissue rather than up and down. Okay. Now, we're going to go across, but as we go across, we will slowly work our way up and down. But we're going to do that by making a crossways motion rather than a linear motion. So, really easy. Just put the lacrosse ball near the balls of your feet. Let gravity do the work. If it's too intense, you hold your leg up. But with a tennis ball, chances are that's not going to be too intense for you. You're going to take your time going across the tissues. And we're going to start on the toe side. And then slowly work our way toward the heel, but we're going to be moving across rather than up and down. Can you go up and down? Absolutely. It usually feels really nice, especially if you have a cramp. But if you really want to loosen the tissue, you'll go across the grain rather than with it. Okay. And you can spend several minutes on this. Usually I would spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes per foot. We're going a little faster because this is YouTube. But tomorrow, when your feet are not happy, or even in the future, if your feet are not happy, just pull out the tennis ball and get to it. All right. We'll see you in episode 3.